London might not well pass as the world's oldest city. It may not be the world's largest city, but definitely not among the smallest, or the most populous city, despite its huge population. It actually is not the most beautiful city, albeit somewhere near the ugliest. It's not the most peaceful. Nevertheless, London is almost the most famous city in the world. Can you think of any city more often mentioned, that appears in more literary works, that features in more movies than London? To many, London is synonymous with Britain. Everybody wants to travel to London for different reasons. As popular and desirable as the city is, many people don't know so much about it. This London travel guide has been produced with such people in mind. It'll help those planning on visiting London, regardless of much they know about it, to make the best of their travel to London. Why should you visit London? Many people have different reasons why they travel to London. Here are some of the commonest reasons people give for their visits to gorgeous London. If you are a bruncher. Who doesn't love those mid-morning brunches? They're traditionally available in London with good and clean tastes. You'll surely enjoy them if you visit London, no matter what your tastes are. Brunches are always up for offer by many establishments all year round due to their outdoor terraces. For many people, their visit to London is tied to brunch in the city. I can assure such ones they'd not be disappointed. Double-decker bus tour. Most people have never taken a ride on a double-decker bus. The well-known red double-decker bus has designated routes in the city, and they operate in a way unmatched by any other. If you want to have another breathtaking view of the glorious city, you can select a seat on the upper deck. This will make the journey more enjoyable. The uniqueness of their service gives a compelling reason to visit London. Wonderful Thames tours. As you travel around London, you may find that the double-decker bus tour is not all there is to London tour. Sailing along the historical River Thames, adding a lot of glamour to London, can also give you another reason. This wonderful river is one of the most beautiful bodies of water, not only in the UK but in the entire world. It's one of the reasons why you must visit London. By the time you travel on the river, you will get a different perspective on the city. In the breathtaking scenery, you will catch a glimpse of several canals, giving you a reminiscence of those waters in the city of Venice. You need to feed your eyes. There is excellent sightseeing in London with which you can feed your eyes. Some people consider many of its landmarks among the things they must see before they die, as they have seen them depicted only in pictures, movies, television and glosses. As you behold London's many cultural attractions together with its architectural gems, you may also love to see highlights like Big Ben, the Tower of London, Buckingham Palace and the London Eye, among other places of attraction. Each of these is enough to provide a reason for a trip to London. Best time to visit London. Your interests and activities will determine the best time for you to visit London. To illustrate, consider the following. For hotel bookings. All year round, London attracts visitors from all over the world. Thus, hotel bookings can be costly if you visit or book at the wrong time. It's advisable if you book your stay at one of the top hotels in London 4 to 6 months in advance. You might get not only the best selection, but also the best price, especially if you plan to bring your family. For shopping. This depends on whether or not you're on a budget, and also on your interest, because so many department stores in London offer something extraordinary for everyone, regardless of style. From those small West End shops to those huge flagship retailers on Oxford Street, from Portobello Road and Notting Hill, you'll always learn about something to buy that increases your knowledge of the local culture and history. However, the best sales in London, including that famous Harrods summer sale, usually occur between the last week of June and the first week of July. Of course, December is the busiest, when retailers make most of their profit. Lower demand after the holiday season forces retailers and airlines to offer steep discounts in the first few weeks of the year. If you're visiting with families. Even when you're on a relatively low budget, there is an abundance of free museums and galleries during off-school months. The cost of public transportation is low then. In fact, the subway ride is free for children under 11. The London Theatre's Kids Week in August offers each child one free ticket once you purchase an adult ticket to many popular shows. Visiting museums and galleries. You may plan your visit to London for January and February if you prioritise visiting museums and galleries. These are the best months because tourism is low, the place will be less rowdy, and you can learn more as both you and your guide can take your time. Of course, there are no empty months. It's only that lines will be shorter then, as visitors are fewer. Yet places like the Natural History Museum, the London Transport Museum and the Science Museum are better visited during summer months and significant holidays such as the ones fixed for the half-term break in February, May and October. How expensive is London? London. The big smoke. I have not too good news for you on this one. London is certainly one of the world's most expensive but most diverse and dynamic cities. But you can still visit London on a budget. For a moderate enjoyment of your trip to London, please plan to spend anything between £60 and £120 per day. Accommodation in London. Frankly speaking, traditional accommodation options in this city can be incredibly expensive. Accommodation in an average hotel in London costs £130 per night. In central London, the prices can be quite higher, and if you choose a hostel dorm, be ready to pay at least £30 per night. If you consider a cheaper accommodation far from the city centre, transportation will gulp whatever you consider a saving. But here is an idea. If you're travelling with a friend or spouse or the entire family, consider a private flat on Airbnb. It's an incredibly effective means of cutting down on the overall cost of a trip to London. A private room on Airbnb in or around central London costs about £50 per night. Transportation in London. This is a city where you'll be travelling about 20 miles or 32 kilometres each day. How much that will cost you is entirely up to you. There are several options for different modes of transportation. While any of the 6 airports or in and around the city can be your point of entry, you are most likely to arrive through Heathrow or London City. If that's the case, your saving on transportation can start with flying a budget airline that will take you from anywhere in Europe to Stansted or Luton. It's good to do your research before arriving so that you determine the best route to your accommodation. Booking your train at least 1 week ahead of time can give you a good deal. On average, you will spend around £15 to £20 one way. Another option is the Piccadilly line of the Underground from Heathrow to central London. Though it takes more time, it's considerably cost-effective as it only costs roughly £4, depending on the time or the day you're travelling. Oyster Card has been the best option to combat high travel costs. You can get it at any tube station. One of the benefits of using Oyster Cards is that the Oyster has daily travel caps with several options that help you save a lot. Food prices in London. Those greatest scenes and cuisines in London can come with a steep price tag. Eating out to enjoy the main dish at a mid-range restaurant will cost you around £12 to £15. A starter will cost around £8 to £10. If you're eating at a higher-end place, add about 10 to 20%. You don't have to spend that much and be compelled to break the bank before you experience the food culture of London. With about £10 to £15 per day, you will be fine if you can cook the majority of your own meals. How to travel London on a strict budget. There's no gainsaying the fact that London is a very expensive city. This, however, doesn't mean that those on a strict budget cannot enjoy their visit. There are some tips for cutting costs in London. For instance, if you don't mind staying in budget accommodation, visiting mainly free attractions and cooking your meals, you can budget at the lower end. Buy an Oyster Card. As I earlier told you, this prepaid Metro card can help you save a lot, up to 50% on all Metro rides. As you're likely to take the subway frequently, you can buy in bulk to enjoy further discounts. You can get back all the unused funds on the card at the end of your journey. Visit small theatres. Yes, one of the reasons to visit London is the theatres, but to save on this, consider visiting smaller concerts and less popular comedy evenings. With about £10, you can still have a nice time at a theatre. This is great to avoid spending a fortune on The Lion King or Les Miserables. Steer clear of taxis. Unfortunately, you can't avoid spending on expensive taxi rides if you want to be getting around in London. If you're travelling London on a budget, you have to plan your itinerary well to avoid relying on taxis. This may require that you get back to your accommodation before it's too late into the night. Understand how night bus runs. If you factor into the journey the fact that the night bus shutdown time, you can plan your journey accordingly. For instance, you can download a map of the night bus routes so as to know the quickest way to move each day and get back to your hotel or hostel in good time. Fortunately, these buses ply every part of the city and even some of the suburban areas. Use the Taste Card. There are many restaurants that offer a diner's membership card for 50%. You can save on food, especially on those pricey dinners you love to indulge in if you get this card. Don't buy bottled water. The tap water in most areas of the city is perfectly safe to drink unless otherwise indicated. By simply carrying a refillable water bottle, you'll save money and help save the climate by reducing the use of wasteful plastic bottles. Interesting things to do in London. Are you wondering what to do in London? I guess not. I would understand, however, if I found you searching for an interesting thing to do in London. Join in the complimentary walking tour. Visitors to London can choose from the numerous complimentary walking tours available in the city. Many of them are free and paid ones are offered by many companies at reasonable prices. Visit various museums. There are plenty of museums in London. British Museum, City Museum, Historical Museum and National Gallery are among the free ones you can visit over several days you will spend there. If you join millions of visitors who usually visit the Natural History Museum in London, you have a lot to learn from over 80 million objects housed there. Kids would love to see this museum because of the extensive fossil collection it contains. Another one is the Victoria and Albert Museum, housing over 2,000 pieces of art collected from the world bearing more than 3,000-year history. Grab a bite at Borough Market. Borough Market has been since 1756 and is a sort of mecca for food lovers. Here you can enjoy the best examples of British and international cuisine and be satisfied. Visit the theatre to unwind. If you're a theatre lover, you need to go to the Globe in South London to see a Shakespeare production in London's theatrical community, which is world-renowned. This is one of the city's famous spectacular shows and the tickets aren't too expensive. Take a stroll down Brick Lane. Brick Lane is a street in East London that is popular in the heart of London's Bangladeshi community. Locals are proud to introduce the street to visitors for its unique shops selling vintage clothing, cheap and best cuisine and exciting artwork. You can see some of the most popular artists in London such as Banksy, Deface and Ben Einer here. Enjoy the nightlife. If you're not on a budget, you can get to enjoy the exciting nightlife in London. You see, Londoners work hard to pick the high bills in this one of the most expensive cities. Therefore, they place a high value on relaxation, entertainment and recreation. The city hasn't let them down as it rewards them well in this regard. The nightlife in London lacks nothing a pleasure lover could want. Best places to visit in London. Visiting the capital of Britain requires a lot of planning. This modern city and multi-ethnic thriving city is full of historic landmarks and great places to see. You just have to choose the very best for you alone among the best places to visit in London. Here are some of them. The Covent Garden. This location in London's West End is another fantastic place to spend a day. Your time there will be enriched by a creative marketplace, street performers, offbeat cafes and bars, and major musical theatre productions. A must-see for visitors to West End, Covent Garden Market has been open since the 1830s. While browsing the kiosks where handmade goods are being offered for sale, you can also enjoy good meals or snacks. There's a farmer's market outside the garden every day from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Royal Places. If you intend to visit the royal family's residences, plan to travel to London in the summer. This is the time many London homes love to welcome visitors. That's the ideal time to visit other vital sites. Buckingham Palace is a great place to visit in London. You need to know, though, that staterooms are open from the last weeks of July to the last weeks of September to the public, and the palace changes guard every day, and for the rest of the year it's every other day. Kew Palace is a historical place to visit in London. Once the home of King George III, Queen Charlotte and their family, it's one of the most prestigious event venues. The British Royal Place within the Kew Gardens is on the banks of the River Thames. The large complex dates to 1631. The official residence of Prince of Wales and Duchess of Cornwall, Clarence House, is also attracting visitors, especially lovers of British history from everywhere. The London Eye. Another one of London's most visited landmarks is the London Eye. This is a massive Ferris wheel that rises over 152 metres or 500 feet into the sky. Despite its seeming blandness, no one who visited the place has ever regretted the time and money spent on the tour. From its heights, you can see all of the famous landmarks in London, including Parliament, which is just across the street. It's just a 30-minute trip. The London Dungeon. While the city is not proud of its 2,000 years of London's bloody history, it has properly documented it for the world to learn. This is what you would see in the London Dungeon, which bills itself as the world's most chillingly renowned horror attraction. However, it is not that terrifying. Though macabre, it's a fascinating museum where the historical past is being presented with dignity. A visit to this modern amusement park is recommended so that you can learn about common forms of torture in England. If you're a thrill seeker, you'd enjoy it. St Paul's Cathedral. This is another world-renowned dome that has global recognition. The dome of St Paul's Cathedral in London is an iconic structure designed by Christopher Wren in the 17th century in the English Baroque style. The height of the dome outside is 85 metres or 278 feet, while it is 69 metres or 225 feet inside. Its diameter is 31 metres or 102 feet. On your visit to this cathedral, you can admire its brilliant mosaics and ornate stone sculptures. You can also go to the crypt and see the final resting places of Admiral Nelson, the Duke of Wellington, and of course Christopher Wren, its designer, among others. The choice is yours. Do you now feel like packing your bags and setting out on the tour right away? Having provided you with the necessary information you need and will always need for your trip to London, please don't forget this guide if you hope to make your visit fun-filled. Some of the reasons and places we've mentioned here may be your own reason to visit. Is it the best of the foods in the world that you'll find in London, including those classic and lovely teas that Londoners take for granted? Or the best of the music genres that have been brought from different parts of the world to the city? What about the exceptional beauty that matches those of any other place? Or the streets that bespeak its rich history? Kindly let us know why you visited or would love to visit London in the comment section below. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment and turn on the notification bell. This is Learning Canteen.